Hi guys, welcome to Nora Christine Live. It's your girl Nora Christine here, and we are back because we are talking about Diddy, all things Diddy. So tonight we're almost nearing the end of our journey on Diddy. We're reaching the end. Your girl got in the courtroom, so I guess I'm one of the few that can say I did. So also, guys, if you're watching, hi Chris. I'm live streaming right now on YouTube. So shout out to everyone watching. You might want to go head over to the YouTube page because we have some exclusive right now. Exclusive tea tonight. I'm gonna give you guys something so exclusive you're not gonna see anywhere else. We'll be playing and recapping regarding the closing arguments and the closing statements by Diddy's team. It was fiery. In between playing it, we'll play some clips. So shout out to everybody watching. Hit the like button. Tapping is clapping. Thank you to everyone watching on Nora Christine Live on YouTube. So I'm gonna play you guys. There's someone called Diddy Trial Daily. I don't know how he got into the courtroom, but he's reading defense's closing argument. So in between listening, I'll be playing you guys clips. So it's gonna be boring to listen to, but I'll give you guys background because all of you guys watching, you know that I made it inside the courtroom. I got to go. So I got to see all these people. I got to touch them, feel them. Well, not touch them, but smell them, hear them, be around them. And let me tell you guys, this trial attracted a lot of loonies. Thank God I left when I did. I went for 3 days and it was time for me to go home. I was ready to come home. It was pretty crazy, pretty intense, but tap the screen. I see a bunch of you guys on here. I need to see some likes. Tapping is clapping. Get your girl some likes. If you're not already subscribing, give your girl a follow. I want to thank you guys for supporting me. So here we go. Let's go. For those of you guys watching on TikTok, link in bio. I'm live streaming right now on my YouTube, and I'm playing an exclusive clip on my show. You're not going to probably get this anywhere else. It's very hard to find certain clips, and I always know where to find them. So here we go.
What is this trial really about, based on the evidence? It's about personal use drugs. That's it. That and a certain lifestyle, swingers. But the prosecution have used one of the most serious statutes on the book. They've turned threesomes and drugs into RICO, racketeering. I want to thank you for your service to our country. I'd love to speak to you for days, but it's a Friday, so I'll be efficient. I need to cover a lot of ground, but I'm going to focus on what matters most. Sean Combs. Sean is a self-made Black entrepreneur. He built real businesses, so successful that others wanted to partner with him. But it was hard to be Sean Combs. How many witnesses told you that they were moved by him? His assistants, they were moved. They said it was like Harvard Business School. He pushed them hard. Did they always like him? No. But did they love him? Yes. Even the ones suing him. Mia, I'm not calling her that. It's actually not her name. I'll call her the witness who testified as Mia. Remember Derek Ferguson from the Bronx? He told you that there weren't very many people hiring people like him, people from the Bronx. There was something real about these businesses. The hard parts of life, the real things, those are the ones people remember. These people grew with Combs. It was real diversity. DEI? Combs was doing that at 24 years old. But the prosecution calls his businesses racketeering. That's their fake trial. And what happens? He gets arrested. They destroy his property. They send in the special response team, clandestine, no cameras allowed. They run rampant in his properties. His kids were there. 6 of them are sitting here in the second row. The 7th is an infant. That's who he is, the man who takes care of people. Jane came here, testified against him, and today she lives in a house that he still pays for. And what'd they find? Boxes of Astroglide taken off the streets. Baby oil taken off the streets. America's safer now.
I can't believe
5
James
Valium pills, that's
he's
their
getting rid
evidence.
for guys.
And when they did that kind of work, they didn't even photograph it. So what do? They wrap yellow crime scene tape, figuratively, around his bedroom. around all the hotels with his girlfriends. That's a lot of crime scene tape. The crime scene is his private sex life. No one ever called 911. Instead, they called civil plaintiff lawyers. This case is about money. Cassie Ventura sued Sean Combs for $30 million because he has $30 million. No money, no civil suit. No civil suit, no criminal case. This case is about 5 minutes. It's about love. Love has been said over 800 times during this trial. Look, the domestic violence, we own it. We didn't ask Miss Ventura about being hit, kicked, or dragged. We didn't cross Jane on that either. But domestic violence isn't being charged. If it were, he would have pled guilty to that because he did that. But racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, kidnapping, bribery, he didn't do that. Cassie Ventura said that this was about domestic violence. She made an Instagram post thanking people for their love and support. She could have said it was about sex trafficking, but she didn't. So believe her, believe Cassie when she says this was about domestic violence. Look at their relationship and you'll see everything racketeering is not. I'm not going to go through all the texts or the charts, but I'm going to tell you the story of this case. They fell in love. Cassie had a boyfriend who was 10 years older. They were in a 3-year relationship. And then she met Combs.
Okay, guys, let's get into this. I don't know if you guys know this, but when Cassie met Diddy, she had a boyfriend, Ryan Leslie. I want to show you guys who Ryan Leslie is, because basically what we're going to do here is we're not going to just straight listen to this whole time, the clip. We're going to take some breaks and I'm going to give you guys background. So if you guys don't know anything about the trial, you've been hearing about it, buckle up, stay tuned. I'm going to give you guys play by play because, like, but let me play this clip for y'all because I got to show you guys this because this is important, guys. Hold on. I got too much things going on, guys. My bad. We're like multitasking here, but we're going to break this down together. I'm going to give you the Diddy trial in one nutshell with his closing argument. So give me a like, guys. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on TikTok, we are live streaming right now on YouTube. But here we go.
Everybody in the Cassie, y'all know that. And here's a story directly from Miles. And we get down to some business about just so we can be on the same page of what the plan is, as far as from Tommy's concerned, and from where we're concerned as also a label and one at Atlantic. So everybody's on the same page. I think the best thing to do is to kind of give an overview or a history of how we came to the project. Can't know where we're going unless we know where we came from. Ryan is a producer that I've been working with for the last 2 years. That was brought to me by Ed Woods, who Ryan is signed to their label and also as a producer and has done some stuff for the label. And somebody's like one of my go-to people. New actors, just needing records right away. Somebody that go in the trenches, musical genius, new age Teddy Riley, Dr. Dre, Quincy Jones, Pharrell, but to his level, his own way. But he had something else that was very important that attracted me to his situation, which was he had a new global outlook. He had a record that he didn't put out here, and he went and started going over to Europe and doing shows and starting to build a following over in Europe. And I took notice to that because I didn't really see a lot of artists that would have the ingenuity to do that. So when he was doing that, I heard he also had a young lady that was with him named Cassie that had a record out. And I started hearing this record that was haunting me in the clubs. And it was, it was Cassie's record, Me and You. And
there's Cassie, guys. Next to her is her boyfriend at the time, Ryan Leslie. When he met her, she had a boyfriend. I think people forget that homegirl had a boyfriend when they met, okay? And we have to remind of that.
I fall in love with the project because I saw something more than just records. I saw something that there was a personality there. There was something that
she looks so young there. And, while I do have I have sympathy because of how young she was, I think people forget that she was two-timing her man with Diddy at the time. They were sneaking around. She would tell her man, "Oh, I got a job to do in Miami," and she go sneak off and be with him. That's what we learned in this case. So she wasn't this innocent girl when she met him. Also, Cassie was sneaking behind his back, hooking up with Lupe Fias. What's that guy's name? Kid Cudi. My bad, not Lupe. Kid Cudi hooking up with Michael B. Jordan. And so, in between messing with Diddy for these 10 years that she was doing these freak offs, she was hooking up with other dudes. Not only was she doing freak offs, they paid for over 20 men for her to sleep with in the time. And they would last for 3 or 4 days. Okay. But based on the text messages that the defense is not showing you in this breakdown, it was very apparent that she was romantic. I mean, that she was enjoying the freak offs. She would ask for them. She would talk about how horny she was. Okay. So this girl wasn't like super duper innocent. And I think that is very forgotten in all of this, that she wasn't being held against her will. However, what I do think they're going to get him on with the case with her is I think it's going to be the prostitution across state lines. I don't believe he's going to be found guilty on RICO or the racketeering. I believe he's going to be found guilty for the prostitution. Okay. I don't even know if I would say the next trafficking. But let him continue because this is very important because from what I heard, based on this closing argument by defense, people were cheering in the overflow room. So we really got to listen to this because is this going to be the tide that helps Diddy? Is this going to be the closing argument that helps Diddy? Let me play the rest.
Off to the races. The first time they made love, it was on a boat. It was an intense relationship. It was 11 years long. Cassie is a smart woman. She won. She got $30 million and he's sitting in jail. You see these U.S. Marshals standing behind him. Cassie won 100-0, and they'll tell you she's the victim. It's a modern love story with modern problems. He has 6 kids. Their relationship was based on love. Cassie admitted that she was young and insanely jealous. If you ever don't want to go home during deliberations, just read their breakup texts. You'll cry. They were selfless with each other. But their relationship had an original sin. Gina. Gina wouldn't come here to testify, but she's out there. And then Kim Porter passed away, and Combs did what he did. And that was Cassie's last straw. So she made a choice, and she left. And guess what happened? Nothing. She always...
Hold on, guys. Pause. Sorry, because like I told you, we're going to be breaking this up. I need to show you guys who Gina was. So Gina was another side piece of Diddy. So from what I'm gathering is Diddy had mains and side pieces. I believe at one point Kim Porter was a main, and he had these. Gina was in the mix around Kim Porter too. But then Kim Porter got sick of him, and so then Cassie became the main because he would walk her on the red carpets. But he also had Gina, and I want to show you guys who Gina is because I got to show you. Hold on, let me play this clip, y'all.
Bad one and she's a good one.
And he was with both of you guys at the same time.
Yeah. And at one point, like I was breaking out really bad with acne, and he would be like, he said this a few times to me. He was like, "Baby, why don't you go see a doctor or something? I don't date women with bumps on their face."
Oh.
Yeah, he would say that to me.
Take a drink. Were there others?
He's always told me that it was just only us two, but I don't believe him because I always catch him like texting other girls and stuff like that. I never lived in his house, but yeah, I know his whole entire family.
Okay. And so the family knew about you and Cassie at the same time?
Yes. I met him in February, and then I got pregnant in October.
Oh, so the same year.
The same year.
Okay. And you mind telling me what happened with that pregnancy?
I told him, and he was like, "You're gonna get an abortion, right?" And then I was like, "I don't know. I don't know yet." and then he offered me 50,000 to get rid of it, but I turned it down because I just loved him, and and I wanted to, I was like trying to prove that I wasn't the girl that
Was with
wanted him for
money.
money.
Okay.
I just care about him, and I just wanted him to be nice to me. That's it. I was like, I don't want your money. I just want you to be nice to me.
Whether you decide to keep the baby or not. Did you ever, I guess, feel any sort of anger towards Cassie?
Mm-mm.
Never.
I mean, I felt like a little jealous, like wishing that I could do the things that she get to do with him.
Mm.
You know, like
And what did you ever talk
stuff.
Did you ever talk to Diddy about that?
Yeah.
And what did he say?
He don't care. I just had to play my position.
So y'all heard it here first. She said she had to play her position. So again, that was what I figured the breakdown was. And side note, they wanted her to testify and she wouldn't show up. So I don't know if she's scared or if she decided to stay true and loyal to Diddy in the end. Who knows? Also, somebody wrote in the comments, what's up with Diddy and these Asian girls? Like, he had a thing because his last baby mama was Asian too. I saw her when I went to the courtroom. She showed up and I'm like, why does she look familiar? It was Dana Tran, and I'm going to show you her later on in the show. But let's get back to listening to what we were listening to. Guys, give me a like, give me a share. If you guys are watching on X, you can come on over to the YouTube at Nora Christine Live and contribute.
Pick a message from 2018. These two loved each other. If racketeering conspiracy had an opposite, it was this relationship. They were their best selves sexually. And there were times Combs was proud. They found each other in sex. It's a beautiful thing. You won't find a single text where she says, I didn't like that, in their 11-year relationship. The issue was jealousy of other women. But they were in sync sexually. They were swingers. Cassie's a woman who loves sex. It's beautiful. She's unafraid. Let's talk about Kid Cudi. He came here, and I'm not trying to judge, but he said Cassie played me. And she did. She played them both. And not everyone can do that. She lied to Combs, and she had a relationship with another singer right under his nose. She wasn't afraid of him. She said she was keeping it gangster, lying to both. Cassie got a burner phone, finally, something resembling racketeering. But she got it. And she never said anything to this about anyone. And now racketeering? The judge is going to talk to you about racketeering later. But first, in 2004, let's talk about kidnapping. Capricorn Clark. She told you, I wanted my life back. So Clark's parents, no disrespect, but they passed when they were young. So she moved to the Bronx and she met Combs. She said it was super platonic. Really? She admitted having the biggest crush on him and she misused their chemistry. If she was kidnapped, why go back to work for him? She said she was getting her nails done with Mike B when they got a call saying, lock everyone in. That's when she was given the lie detector test. She and Mike B passed the lie.
Pause, guys. Pause for a second. I want to show you guys who Capricorn Clark is. This is important. I got to show you guys who she is. Hold on, guys. Let me show you. Because we're going to, like I said, we're doing a deep dive, deep breakdown.
Day 10 of Diddy's trial just ended, and Capricorn Clark's bombshell testimony is officially done. But the mess is only getting bigger. Today, we found out she met with Diddy's team this April, thinking she'd get a new job. But after cross-exam, it's clear they just wanted dirt for the case. Zero intention of hiring her. On the stand, things got personal. Capricorn admitted she and Cassie never got along, calling Cassie more of a studio musician than real talent, saying Diddy gave her all the help, but it still wasn't enough. Diddy's lawyers claim Cassie failed because of her own work ethic, not because of him. And then back to the wildest part. Capricorn says she was kidnapped, forced to take lie detector tests, and Diddy was waving a weapon around. Diddy's team tried to say she went willingly, but Capricorn pushed back. He didn't care what I wanted. I was scared. She claims she was blacklisted after being fired, with every job falling through, including one with Chris Lighty, who died the day before she was supposed to start. So what's really going on here? Is Capricorn Clark exposing a dark side of hip-hop power, or just playing the game? Drop your take in the comments, because tomorrow brings even more witnesses.
So let's see what Gene Deal has to say about Capricorn Clark. I'm curious his take on it.
When Capricorn testified, man, it was heartfelt not because she was crying and going through all the pain that Cassie and her went through, and because when you heard her testimony, you found out that she really didn't care for Cassie like that. They friendship grew. You know, they had grown into a friendship that she cared more about Diddy, because she even wrote him letters that she had a crush on him back in the day. So it was kind of weird hearing all the stuff she was going through. And in my mind, I was thinking that, and knowing who Diddy was, he probably slept with her too. That's what I was thinking. I don't know that to be true. You understand? But what people didn't understand in her testimony, that he would fire her, then she'll come back, or she'll go get another job, and then she'll have to come back, or whatever didn't work about, something like that. People don't understand this, bro. And when you look at the situation with all the people that were employed by Diddy and that was in the music world, it's this old proverb, the golden rule. And what's the golden rule? The man with all the gold make all the rules. Puff was that dude that he held all the gold. Sure. So when this lady was coming back and she was in the defense went at her, well, you trying to say that he threatened your life, they kidnapped you, they did all these stuff to you, but you still went back to work with him, because she probably couldn't go back to work for nobody else until she straightened out with him, or till she made him feel good, until she made him feel like she wasn't an issue when she was a problem, and they thought that because she came from death row, I think, I don't, it was somewhere like her and Suge had some kind of, I don't know, family relationship or something like that. I don't even know. I didn't get clarity on that, but it was something about Suge Knight and her that they found out, and then stuff started coming up missing as far as jewelry. They took her to like a warehouse, had a guy up there with a polygraph, giving her a polygraph every day. I think they gave her a polygraph like, they think it's 5 times, they said, up in this old abandoned warehouse like. So she was terrified and she was scared and she didn't want to go, but she had to go. When Capricorn tested.
But what I don't understand about her going to the warehouse thing, you were able to come and go as you please. That's what they're not telling you too. If this was kidnapping, how were you able to go home every evening? The thing is, let me give background story about why she was taken to go get that lie detector test. A piece of jewelry was taken and missing from Diddy. When that happened, he went and had to question her. Also, what I think was interesting is, Diddy, you don't like Suge Knight. Why would you hire this woman? It's a lot of red flag things with that whole situation. Diddy was what I realize is he's a very vindictive person. Hence why he went and got with 50 Cent's baby mama and hooked up with her. Okay. He's very vindictive. So let's get back to our breakdown and listening to the defense's closing statement. And guys, like I said, we're going to be playing clips in the meantime, so I can get you guys caught up on everything you missed within the last 8 weeks of the Diddy trial. Here we go.
Lie detector test. So kidnapped? She went home every day. She wasn't kept in that abandoned building. Yeah, Paulie drove her home every day. Door-to-door kidnapping? The SDNY calls that kidnapping? It's absurd. You, the jury, you've been here every day and you go home every day and then come back. Are you kidnapped? No. At the time, Combs was filming A Raisin in the Sun and he was running the Vote or Die campaign. He didn't care about this, so why call it kidnapping? Clark even left Combs's business for a year. And when she needed more money, she asked him for a job and she came back. December 22nd, 2011. The prosecution says Combs kidnapped Capricorn to go confront Cuddy. Capricorn said Combs had a gun. Why bring a gun to kidnap Capricorn? She would have done anything for him. There was no need for a gun. There was no gun. Cuddy never said Capricorn mentioned a gun because there wasn't one. The police report, it mentions trespassing, but no gun. So Capricorn's story falls apart. And the car chase she mentions, there wasn't one. Cuddy said he, quote, pulled up next to the Escalade. The judge is going to tell you, disregard witnesses that you don't find credible. So you need to decide. Everything is possible with Capricorn Clark. She said she wanted to run away from the Escalade, but she didn't because she was afraid of mountain lions. Mountain lions? Combs kidnapped her with a gun, but she was afraid of mountain lions? She doesn't want to say that she went voluntarily. Look, Combs isn't a coward. He was ready to fight. At the risk of sounding sexist, he's a man. He fights. The Porsche? Yeah, a Hollywood Hills 8 a.m. John Wayne fight. That's not his style, and there was no evidence tying him to that. Burning a car? That's cowardly. Combs is a man. He would fight.
Guys, let me pause here. I want to show you guys Kid Cudi's testimony. So pretty much, let me give you guys background on the Kid Cudi situation. Allegedly, Kid Cudi and Cassie were sneaking around behind Diddy's back. Cudi was told by Cassie that things were over with them. And so he was like, I didn't know that she was still messing with him. So then she was sneaking behind his back, so much so that she went and got a burner phone to talk to him on it. Okay. So allegedly, he finds out, he goes to Capricorn Clark, his assistant's house, kidnaps her allegedly, takes her to Kid Cudi's house. They break in, supposedly mess up his things. And then allegedly a day or so later, Kid Cudi's Porsche is set on fire. So let me also, I got to tell you guys this. There was no male evidence. There was no male. The DNA found at the scene of the Molotov cocktail for the Porsche was matching a woman and not a man. My theory is, guys, that Capricorn Clark or Cassie did it. He told them, you guys need to show your loyalty to me. I could definitely see him doing that. I think Capricorn Clark did it. I'm not gonna hold you. And the reason why is I think she was so desperate to keep her job. And he was like, well, you need to show your loyalty to me. That's my theory. He claims there was no other he had no other enemies at the time. So if Diddy's attached to it, I believe a woman, and the closest woman to him that was aware of all this to me was Capricorn Clark. So let me play this clip for you guys. The Kid Cudi thing.
And in December 2011, what kind of car did you drive?
A Porsche 911 Cabriolet.
Was that the car you were driving that evening?
Yes.
Can you describe what's depicted in the photograph on the left?
It looks like the top of my Porsche was cut open, and that's where they inserted the Molotov cocktail.
And the photograph on the right, from what angle is that photograph taken?
It looks like that's from the passenger side looking up the roof.
On the right-hand side of the photograph, what is the hole? Is that the same hole in the roof you can see on the photograph on the left, 3F101?
Yes.
Can you please describe what we are seeing in Government Exhibit 3F103?
That's the door to the driver's side, smoke damage.
Then what is depicted in the photograph on the right?
That's the hole in my roof.
What's a Molotov cocktail, to your understanding?
It's, would you say, explosive or something like that? I guess it's a bottle with some type of like inflammatory liquid inside and a cloth that you light on fire and it ignites.
Did you eventually get to your home on the day of the car fire?
Yeah.
What did you see when you arrived home?
Just the damage. I saw the Molotov cocktail, yeah.
When you say, I saw the Molotov cocktail, what did you see?
The bottle, and it was kind of just burnt up.
Was any law enforcement present when you arrived here to your home?
Yes.
Did you speak to law enforcement that day?
Yes.
Did you make a report?
Yes.
With respect to your car, was your car able to be repaired after the fire?
No.
And when you said you saw the bottle for the Molotov cocktail when you returned home, where was that bottle?
On the ground,
Was it on the ground inside or outside of your vehicle?
outside of the vehicle.
Was it near the vehicle?
Huh?
Where was it in relation to the vehicle?
It was near the vehicle.
What was your understanding of where the Molotov cocktail was found by law enforcement?
In the driver's seat.
I think you mentioned this, but was your car able to be repaired?
No.
What was your reaction to your car being set on fire?
What the?
Objection.
And in December 2011, what kind
So he was honest. He said, "What the?" Anyways, so we'll get back to defenses, the transcript or the recorded statement for defense's closing arguments. What we're listening to, guys, for those of you guys just now joining, is this is somebody recorded the voice from the transcript of defense's closing argument. So I'm playing it now, guys. Here we go.
The Molotov cocktail, there was a glove. Where is the glove? This investigation stunk. There were 2 fingerprints. Where are the fingerprints? There was DNA consistent with a female contributor. If it was Combs, he would say so. But this investigation stunk. And you're supposed to decide his fate on this? Now let's talk about Mia, or the witness referred to as Mia. She testified she was broke. Did they tell you that? She loved working for Combs. This wasn't forced labor. Remember the birthday video? She was bubbly, energetic, and popping. That was her real self. So it's safe to conclude that she acted here in the courtroom. And if Combs thought anything improper had happened, do you think he would have threatened to tell Cassie? Like if it was not consensual? She claims it wasn't consensual, but that's simply not true. There was never any unwanted sexual conduct. Mia wasn't just a platonic employee. Look at these pictures. Look at the slogans. They were a few.
Okay, guys, I'm going to talk about Mia now because I was there for Mia's testimony. And let me tell you, honey, when she testified, it was so weird. Okay. So, first of all, every time she talked, she had her head down like this and she had a deep voice and she would say, "Yes, Your Honor." And then when they would be like, "Mina, can you read the text messages?" Her voice would change. It was like a character. She was like, "Hi, Tim, how are you?" And the thing about Mia that killed me is Mia was like a stage 5 clinger after she sued him even. She would text him, she would send him these long messages. And then they played this video of her in court. I mean, I'm not going to say her identity, but I got to play. I mean, they played this video in court. It's going to come out regardless. It's public record. So here we go. I'm going to play the video they played the day. She doesn't look like this anymore, by the way.
Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself. You have not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance, let's fuck shit up. I love you. Happy birthday. Revolt.
Chaos erupts in the Diddy trial courtroom. A jaw-dropping moment just unfolded after inner-city press uncovered the true identity of Mia, Diddy's former assistant and star witness at the center of explosive sex trafficking allegations. Under strict orders from the court, Mia has remained anonymous. No photos, no full name, and courtroom sketches forbidden. But this morning, a live stream from Inner City News hinted at her real name. And let's just say the internet went into full detective mode. Legal experts were quick to warn, revealing a protected witness's identity can violate federal laws and result in contempt of court. And now, one YouTuber has reportedly been banned from the trial after sharing too much online. So what happens now? Will the judge crack down harder on leaks? Will Mia's safety be at risk? And does this change how the public views her testimony or Diddy's defense? Follow for daily updates on this explosive trial and let us know.
I wish they would play. There was this one picture of her, and I can't find it anywhere. I guess they cracked down. But pretty much what was interesting to me is in the picture, she sent him like 2 weeks before Cassie's lawsuit, she sent him a happy birthday text. And in the picture, she's standing in like this like Santa Claus costume, and he's standing next to her with like a bulge in his pants. And she sent him, she said, "Happy birthday, I love you." And I'm just like, if he did all these things to you, I don't get it. I want to play a clip of her testimony. Well, a reenactment, I should say, of her testimony, because I really like the law clips. Law and crime clips. Let me play this.
Are we ready to go, Miss Miser? Let's bring Mia back.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mia, you testified earlier that Mr. Combs sexually assaulted you multiple times. Is that right?
Yes.
Did you ever want to engage in any sexual activity with Mr. Combs?
No.
Over what period of time did the sexual assaults occur?
I'm not sure the years, but they were sporadic.
Also, guys, her
Were they
voice doesn't
sporadic
sound
during
like
your
this.
employment
It's
with
more
Mr.
like
Combs?
deep, and she had her
Where was
head down the whole
Cassie
time.
when these sexual assaults occurred?
Not there.
Did you
Not
tell her
there.
about them?
It's more like what her voice
No.
sounded like.
Where were you the first time you remember Mr. Combs sexually assaulting you?
At the Plaza Hotel in New York for his 40th birthday.
For whose 40th birthday?
For Puff's 40th birthday.
Why were you at the Plaza Hotel?
Because I was working.
Were you Mr. Combs's personal assistant at the time?
Yes, I was very new.
Approximately how long had you been working for Mr. Combs at this point in time?
Just a few months.
How much of the hotel had Mr. Combs rented for his birthday party?
I believe it was the whole thing.
Where was Mr. Combs physically located at the party?
He had like a penthouse suite, and then the downstairs of the hotel was where the main party was, so he was going back and forth between.
Was there a time when Mr. Combs was in the penthouse?
Yes.
Did there come a time when you went to the penthouse?
Yes.
Why?
Because we had to stay within his eyesight and earshot.
When both you and Mr. Combs were in the penthouse, who else was there?
A lot of people. Malcolm, whoever was working at the time, and then other party guests, celebrities.
Was Cassie there?
No.
What did Mr. Combs do when you were in the penthouse?
At some point, he asked to speak to me in the kitchen.
After he asked you to speak to you in the kitchen, what did he do?
I guess he had everybody else clear the room, leave.
Did you end up going into the kitchen?
Yes.
Who was in the kitchen with you and Mr. Combs?
Just us.
What did Mr. Combs tell you in the kitchen?
He was saying that he noticed what a good job I was doing and that I didn't have to be nervous or scared to come to him, because at the time I was just going through Malcolm, the other assistant, to ask questions, or I wasn't really like going direct to Puff. And he was saying that he had noticed I was doing a great job and that like sort of like we were going to be working closer together, so we should, things like that.
What, if anything, did Mr. Combs offer you when you were in the kitchen with him?
Then he poured us shots of vodka to cheers for his birthday.
How many shots did he give you?
I think 2.
What did you do with the shots?
I took them.
Had you been drinking earlier that night?
Not that I recall, but if so, like it wasn't like affecting me.
How did these shots that you took with Mr. Combs make you feel?
I remember thinking like that, whoa, I did not eat or something, because they affected me. Like I felt like they hit me kind of hard.
How did shots normally make you feel at this point in your life?
I was in my 20s in New York. 2 shots would not have made me feel that way.
What did Mr. Combs do after you took the shots?
He was still talking, and I just remember my back. I was standing against the wall, and I just remember he was talking, and all of a sudden his face got closer. Like I remember my eyes couldn't like focus on his face because it was so close. And I didn't really know what was happening. And he put his arm next to my head up against the wall and like leaned in to like kiss me and put his other hand up the side of my dress.
I just want to make sure I have this straight. Did Mr. Combs kiss you at that point?
Yeah.
Did you want Mr. Combs to kiss you?
No.
Did Mr. Combs put his hand up your dress?
Yes.
Did you want him to do that?
No.
Were you able to tell Mr. Combs no in that moment?
No.
Why not?
I was shocked and I froze. I didn't even process what was happening.
What is the next thing that you remember happening after Mr. Combs kissed you?
My next memory is I just remember being on a chair, in the main room in a penthouse, and coming to the chair and the sun was coming up.
When you came to, were you clothed?
Yes.
Was anyone else around?
I don't really remember. In my memory, I don't see anyone.
At this point in time, when Mr. Combs kissed you, what did you think about Mr.
So pretty much she's alleging in her testimony that he raped her. I mean, that and also drugged her because that's what I gather. So anyways, let's get back to the just so you guys are watching, for those of you watching now, we are listening to a transcript recorded of defense's testimony, and in between I'm playing clips. So guys, give me a subscription. Go to, if you're watching on X, go to YouTube at Nora Christine Live to follow along with us and add to the conversation.
Together. This wasn't just a job for her. Look at this scrapbook. Happy 45th, Puff. From 1991 to 1999. Hope this stirs up some nostalgia. That's love. You can't fake that. Combs gave these people a home. Look at this picture. It's pure joy. KK, D-Rock, Fahim. He created a special place and he moved people. And when Mia was fired, she said, my life is over. She didn't want to leave. Forced labor? No, she didn't want to leave. What about drug distribution? The US says personal use is a distraction. But Brendan Paul admitted that the drugs were for his personal use. Remember when he forgot to remove the cocaine from his bag? He got a lawyer and the charges were dismissed. Combs wasn't selling drugs, he got them himself. Cassie called Combs a drug addict. But where was he selling these drugs? Was he selling Xanax? He had them. They were in his house, but they were for personal use. It wasn't a business to distribute Xanax. No. David James in Saint-Tropez, he asked for an 8-ball of cocaine and then he hid it from Combs. Why? Because it wasn't for Combs. You have to remember, this is a creative field. Creatives have creative behavior. It's drug use. It's not racketeering. And Cassie, sex trafficking your girlfriend, that only applies to if you're forcing prostitution. Cassie never made any money from this. And Jane, look at her texts. And Cassie's, look at theirs. There was nothing. These people were in love. Look, relationships evolve. My wife's from LA, and first I hated it, but now I love it. That happens. Cassie, she was beautiful and sexy. She could have dated anyone. In fact, she dated Michael B. Jordan. She's not messing around. And she's not clutching her pearls right now. She shared intimacy with a man who she loved. And you come to love that. She even said that she encountered what others want. If she liked hotel night number 75, does that make hotel night number 76 sex trafficking? So 0 to 60. She never told him no. But immediately it's sex trafficking after she just said she enjoyed it. When Daniel Phillip was cross-examined, you saw the texts. Combs asked, "Are you horny?" She said yes. And then she shared a whole bunch of fantasies. That was their lifestyle. Cassie wrote, "My pussy is so hot." They were in this together. The Intercontinental video. You saw it. Nothing was hidden. But Cassie says in the video, "Go back to the fucking room." 5 days later, he texts her, "I'm sorry," and she replies, "LOL. I was listening to Sorry," the Justin Bieber song. They're over it at that point. Cassie texts about drugs and she's concerned, but that's it. Like, not an issue. They were in this together. Cassie admitted that sometimes she hit him first.
Guys, I want to play the Intercontinental video. So if you have small children in the room, I recommend you having them leave. I'm giving you a forewarning to have small children leave the room because I am going to play the Intercontinental video. It is quite hard to watch, but this is important because this was what kicked off the Fed's interest in this case. So let me play the clip. So yeah, guys, that's pretty. It's pretty hard to watch. That's why I asked that you take small kids out of the room. What he did to her was very hard to watch. The other thing is there's supposedly a video of her yelling out to someone, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." And when I heard the video, I'm thinking that she's this hostile woman. She was like a little cat. I'm like, who would harm this innocent girl? Now, was she into the freak-offs? Absolutely. But what he did to her on that tape was disgusting. And the level of abuse that people testify to, he treated her like trash. And, do I believe it's to the level of RICO and racketeering? I don't. I believe it's to more like the level of prostitution against state lines. I believe that. I do see that. I do believe he prostituted her out. Let's get back to what we were listening to now. 1 second. Let me start it back up. Guys, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Hit the like button.
But they were in this together. Now she says it was rape. He was never charged for that. She said it happened, but she gave no details. Maybe it didn't happen. Cassie later said, "I told myself I didn't want anything to happen, but I'm not tripping on it." She FaceTimed her husband. Remember, she used the boogie bat phone. Combs texted, "You act brokenhearted. Stop living your lie." Cassie said, "I enjoyed last night," but later she called it rape. There's no evidence of rape. They had consensual sex right after. I have to defend this even though it's not charged. Cassie said the most painful thing was his shame. Jane, she said the same thing. Her partner trusted her, but wanted to be his escape. Jane became very vulnerable. She told us she was jealous of young Miami's yacht trip. But that's not sex trafficking. That's just people in love. Cassie claims she wasn't promoted, but Capricorn Clark said Cassie got the lion's share of the deals. Of all the devices that were found, they were damaged. But were they ever opened by the experts? The videos, we've seen them, they're beautiful. Usher is playing music. These videos were never meant to be seen. Combs wasn't releasing them, even though he said he might. The escorts, the Punisher, she was naive. Homemade porn, that's common. And Jane, she loved Combs. Jane said that she was comfortable. She knows who fathered her child and who she was with. The government isolates September 2023 as a moment of jealousy over the yacht trip with young Miami. You remember Jane said she disliked a guy, one of the escorts. She said he smelled bad, so she sent him back. They paid him anyway. No sex even happened, but they paid him for his time. That's what happened. Jane wanted it. She called Cabral. She liked him. Do you remember at the sobriety party? She was angry over Gina, but she agreed to go. She agreed. The house, Jane's lawyer, terrible. Combs paid for a child that wasn't his. They watched porn together. Jane got him a mobile TV to watch porn together to distract him. The photos you saw, Combs with wine and strawberries, big pores, nothing fancy, but 30 minutes later, an altercation, and she calls him a pedophile. Jane said doors were kicked in, but there was no hitting. Texts from Jonathan Perez, it was all jealousy. The police came. They said everything was, quote, all good.
Pause, guys. I want to play this clip for you of 50 Cent, of Diddy leaving a voice message for Jane. I won't say who she is because, it's supposed to be such a secret, which I think is total bullshit. I think they should have revealed her identity. I don't think it was fair. But let me play this clip right here.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know. You think you silent treating me, and you think I'm gonna be nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. And ain't nobody threatening you. And I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no motherfucking games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you could be mad. I can have a spat. We can have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on and shit like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat. I'm just being clear. I can't do the shit with you every time you get upset.
So
Hey,
basically,
I really
he was
don't know.
like, you need to get on your job, girl. Get on your job. He's not playing with her. He was like, you need to get on your job. And also, uh, so pretty much, it's interesting to me, regarding the fact that they're trying to keep her identity a secret, that they're trying not to say who she is. You know, I'm not going to confirm who she is. I'm not going to deny who she is, but there's, you know, allegations on trying to say who she is, and 50 Cent trolled and he got involved too. But what's interesting to me is 50 Cent acts like he's so innocent. But you know, other women, other baby mamas of his have come out and said that he was aggressive, he's abusive. Also, what's interesting to me is Jane sued him, and you know, for domestic violence. They had a situation where he was charged. I believe he either beat the case and got probation, or they dismissed the charges. I get confused on the situation, but he has 50 Cent has skeletons too. And for him to sit there and say he's doing the surviving Diddy documentary, somebody needs to do a surviving 50 Cent one. But nevertheless, let me play this video for you guys, breaking down her testimony. I just want to recap it.
In a shocking moment during Jane's testimony on the stand, Jane said that Sean Combs is still paying her rent for the home that she lives in today, meaning that he is paying for her rent while she is testifying against him in his criminal trial. Let me explain. Jane, who is testifying under a pseudonym that is not her real name, she explained that in early 2023 that Sean Combs presented to her what he called a love contract. She said that this was a 2-year contract where he said that he would give her a monthly allowance. She asked for $15,000. He said he would give her $10,000. She said that she spent that monthly allowance on a home for her and her son. And she said that the reason why she agreed to this is because she felt that for the first 2 years of their relationship, that she was giving him everything that he wanted, even though she didn't want it, that being those hotel nights, otherwise known as the freak-offs. Jane said that when she vocalized that she did not want to participate in these freak-offs, that Sean Combs would bring up money, which she perceived as a threat. In fact, I want to read you something that he said to her. We heard a voice note in court, and he said, "You need to get on your job." She then texted him back, quote, "You've been transactional and it's super disheartening." Jane said that she felt like these were threats, and she said that to Sean Combs. Prosecutors are hoping that this proves sex trafficking through fraud, threats, and coercion. Jane will be back on the...
Sorry, this woman, when she met him, she was 35 years old. There was no victim here. The chick is still getting her rent paid. I'm having a hard time sympathizing for Jane. Cassie, I was a little bit more empathetic for, because she was 19 when she met him. Could that be grooming? Possibly. Possibly. I don't know many 19-year-olds that are into those kind of things that she was doing. So, but a 35-year-old girl, come on, come on. It's hard for me to empathize, but I digress. Let me get back to playing the rest of the testimony or the closing arguments. My bad, by defense. This is a recorded transcript for those of you watching, just now joining us. Let me hit the play button.
So Jane says she changed her dress, hid for 2 hours, comes back, Combs is in the street, no violence. Then she says she was hit, and then she was hauled off. She said she wasn't dragged. Then she finds injuries to document. This is implausible. Now let's talk about Anton. In Vegas, Anton, a prominent rapper, Jane showed him her breasts. It was like a spring break vibe, a flash. The rapper, he asked about swinger lifestyle, so Jane gave him Cabral's number. Anton was at her house by coincidence. Anton is a porn star, and Jane, she knows that there's an investigation. She knows that her story is nonsense. Anton only had oral sex with her. Her story is full of holes. Maybe she wanted leverage. Extreme violence, she says, no plausibility. You were chosen for this jury. Only 2 escorts testified. Neither admitted prostitution. They were paid for their time. That's legal. Porn actors are paid to have sex. That's legal. Combs thought this was legal. Racketeering? An enterprise needs organization. Only Combs was charged. No testimony of co-conspirators. So no racketeering. Maybe conspiracy, but no co-conspirators? KK? She was helpful. She was an assistant, but she wasn't a criminal. No evidence of anyone else involved. Guns, not charged. Suge Knight, not charged. Don Richard, not charged. The government admits that there were no guns in any videos, but they insinuate wrongdoing. And I have to say this, but Cassie, she asked to be urinated on. So ask yourself, can you trust these prosecutors? It takes courage to acquit, but the evidence shows the government targeted Combs. America is great because between the citizens and the government sits a jury. This is your house. Have the courage. Acquit Sean Combs on all counts and let him go home to his family. Thank you.
So pretty much when the prosecution went and did that, there was like eruption in the courtroom because people feel like the prosecution was trying to play on the fact that Black people are distrusting of the government because he did bring up some sort of racial thing. And the judge made a decision that the jury needs to strike this last part of his closing statement, because the way he alleged it was almost as pretty much, stating that they're biased, that they're targeting Diddy because he's a Black man in America. They were bringing up all sorts of weird things. The funniest thing when I was in the courtroom was Agnifilo, when Mia was on the stand, he goes, "Isn't this a Me Too money grab?" Like, that was the best part for me. But we listened to defense. We're going to go listen to prosecutions, okay? Because I think it's very interesting. And that was a very good breakdown, guys. That was a good summary. And to be clear, the real one was hours long, like literally half a day for each side. So let me play prosecution sound for you.
Over the past 7 weeks, you've learned that Sean Combs led a criminal organization, refusing to take no as an answer, engaging in kidnapping, arson, forced labor, bribery of a security officer, and brutal acts of sex trafficking. Think back to 2 pivotal moments. March of 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel, where the defendant violently dragged Cassie back into a freak-off. And in 2024 at Jane's house, where he choked her and hit her as she tried to escape. These are 2 chapters in the same story of control. The defendant relied on silence and shame, believing his fame, wealth, and power placed him above the law. His staff amplified this dominance, enabling unchecked crimes. Now, this case involves RICO charges, including sex trafficking and transportation for prostitution. Sex trafficking and transportation are also charged as standalone crimes. Racketeers become more dangerous in groups. The Combs enterprise existed to serve the defendant's desires, including his sexual ones, with an inner circle. Chief of Staff KK, his right brain, bodyguards D-Rock, Bonds, Rube, Uncle Paulie, Fahim, who were armed and loyal. David James testified about Combs's gun when he told us about the Suge Knight Diner incident. Searches uncovered those firearms, including a defaced rifle in LA and 2 AR-15s with obliterated serial numbers in the defendant's closet. Assistants like Brendan Paul, who was paid $100,000 a year, and KK, who was paid $650,000 a year, facilitated crimes as well. When tasked with buying drugs or trapping a girlfriend after an assault, they committed crimes, regardless of how they actually felt about it. KK supplied cash and drugs over state lines. That's sufficiently interstate commerce. The defendant, the enterprise's head, Mr. Combs, knowingly participated and committed racketeering acts, drug distribution, kidnapping, arson, bribery, sex trafficking of Cassie and Jane, forced labor, travel for commercial sex. Remember, only 2 acts are needed for a conviction, but the evidence shows far more. Drug distribution was central to freak-offs. D-Rock, KK, Fahim, they were key, but others ensured a steady supply of hard drugs. Cocaine, meth, oxy, ketamine, GHB, shrooms, Molly, Tussie. Also, remember, quantities don't matter. And
Hold
distribution
on, guys.
doesn't...
Pause. I gotta give I want to give Jaguar Wright her flowers because everybody says Jaguar Wright lies, makes up stuff, and I'm gonna be real. Maybe she's repeating stuff because that's what people like to say that that she hears, but nonetheless, she exposed this. She exposed the Tucci, and she said that. Okay, she's been saying this for years. All right, she's been saying this for years. Uh, and I want to play this because this came out years ago. I want to play this clip here. Hold on, y'all. Stop screen. Let me see. Present. Because she's been saying to people like we talked about her, we gave her flowers, and people are like, "Oh, she lies," and maybe she does, but she exposed what was happening years ago. Let me play this clip.
You ever been to a P Diddy party?
Yeah, many, honestly.
And so, can you take us through like what goes on, like when you were there?
Money
Right.
and sex.
Were you surprised that there were so many cameras in his houses?
No.
So let me ask you, when you hear that Cassie was told to hire male escorts to come in what they call freak-offs now,
Yeah.
Is that something normal that happens in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Freak-offs.
Hey, everybody know that. I've been saying it.
So why does Puffy, why now? Why?
Because he's the acceptable monster at this time. Like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch.
So who's next?
Y'all don't see the lineup? Jay-Z is setting Diddy up. He lined up D. Haven, stole his life and identity. He lined up Big L, stole his life and identity. He lined up Dame Dash, stole his life, identity, and fucking took his love. Lined up R. Kelly. He wants to be the one.
You ever been to a P Diddy party?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a little upset about it. Because Al B. Shore just came out of his coma, and I've been talking to Al, and we've been texting back and forth, and I'm just glad that he's alive to text.
Oh, wow. Definitely.
Yeah. But when you think about Kim, I was thinking to myself the other day, Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure, Heavy D, and Puffy. And Kim was the longest working employee because she was there from the very beginning. She was Andre's personal assistant. Kim is dead. Heavy D is dead. Andre Harrell is dead. The only 2 left are Puffy and Al almost died. Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting.
Heavy D was found dead, face down in the heart attack. Andre Harrell, heart attack. Kim died from pneumonia, but there's the first coroner's report that said that she died. It was ruled a homicide, and they found toxins in her body to prove that she had been poisoned. You know, they have poisons that create heart attack and pneumonia-like symptoms. And then right after that, Al had a meeting, and I was going to meet up with him because we were in Vegas. And then the next thing you want to know what they all had in common, though? The survivors and the late of Uptown Records, they were all writing tell-all books. Andre was writing a book right before he died. Heavy D was working on a book before he died. Kim Porter was working on a book before she died. And I'll Be Sure was working on the documentary of his life. And then he goes into a coma. Has Puffy ever been in a coma? Has anything happened to him? He must be the luckiest motherfucker, because it seems like everybody that worked at Uptown Records from the very beginning is gone. Just him. I guess Al disappointed you. You know, I speak for a reason. When you see this bullshit ass motherfucking game fucking with people that you love, that you like, you know, it's too many coincidences.
Too many.
Fuck you, honeycomb.
Oh. Stamp it.
We gonna get you and your little dog too.
Mm.
And congratulations, young Miami. Run as fast as Cassie did. Has anybody asked themselves about that shit?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are asking about what's going on with it. Yeah, a lot of people are looking at it as like that's the way the new relationship should work.
What, to get paid?
Yeah,
She was
basically.
getting $500K a month. She quit because he dropped her down.
Yeah, I think that's where they're at with it now.
No, but understand this. Think about this. And there are women in this room.
Oh, my bad. So yeah, as you guys can see, she has been calling this out since 2023. I want to see if I can get an older video for her, but she's been calling it out, and people were like, "Oh, she makes stuff up." But nonetheless, like I said, yes, she might be repeating stuff. She called it out. She also predicted the downfall of him. She said all this. I'm gonna play another clip of her because, guys, I really want to emphasize Jaguar, because she was the first to call and say this stuff, and people thought it was crazy.
Uptown Records started with 5 people. Andre Harrell, I'll Be Sure.
Well, that's the same clip, but nonetheless, there are some really good. I mean, because I've been following this for years, and you know, she been called it out. She predicted all of this. She said that this was true. She talked about the Tucci. I remember she kept saying Tucci, 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 and I'm like, what are we saying? Like, what is this Tucci? And then, sure enough, it's like pink powdered Coke and people like with food coloring, and they call it Tucci in Miami. It's like a thing, I guess. I'm from South Florida. I've never heard of it, but I don't party and do drugs, so that might be why. All right, let me get back to playing the prosecutor's clip. If you guys are watching and you'd like to add a comment, please go to my YouTube at Nora Christine Live to follow. Here we go.
Sales. But dealers like Guido, One Stop, and Baby Girl, they were known to the enterprise. Jane was told twice to bring drugs on planes when traveling to meet the defendant. She coordinated with KK via text. KK instructed Jane to pick up the, quote, Guido package at Mapleton, which was ecstasy for a freak off. And then we saw texts from Guido to Fahim about how Combs owed him $450. We know what that was for. Drugs. Brendan Paul requested $780 for, quote, personal Gucci items. We know what that was for. Drugs. The defendant supplied drugs to Cassie at every freak-off. He introduced Jane to drugs at every hotel night. He even gave them to Carrie Morgan and to Bana Bonawan. His assistants were all in on it. Brendan tested Tussie for him. D-Rock texted One Stop for him, and KK even gave Jane drug use advice. This was drug distribution. Kidnapping. Kidnapping occurred under California and New York law. After calling Cassie a slut, stomping on her face and disfiguring her, the defendant made her stay at the London hotel to hide her injuries. She wanted to leave. She wanted to go home, but she couldn't. He made her stay there long enough so that she could heal, so that people wouldn't see what he had done to her. Capricorn Clark was forced to take a lie detector test for days in an abandoned building in Manhattan in 2004 over missing jewelry. Uncle Paulie took her there and threatened her, saying she'd end up in the East River if she failed the test. David James even said that Combs threatened to kill her over the missing jewelry. Again, in December of 2011, another kidnapping incident, the Kid Cudi incident. This time, Combs went to Clark's house, banged on the door with a gun, and told her, get dressed. We're going to kill Cudi. They drove to Kid Cudi's house, Combs with the gun on his lap, and he refused to let Clark go until she brought Cassie to him. And when she did, Combs kicked her into the fetal position. In January of 2012, Combs orchestrated this whole arson on Kid Cudi's car. A hole was cut in the roof, and a Molotov cocktail was dropped in. And we know it was Mr. Combs because voice notes captured Combs's threats to blow up the car. And Cudi had no other conflicts except for with Combs. And then D-Rock later brought Cudi to Combs, where Combs apologized, so we know that that was him. Bribery. Bribery occurred in 2016. You'll remember during a freak-off with Cassie and Jules, Combs offered Flores cash to stay quiet. You'll also remember the Intercontinental footage. KK tried to get that assault footage from the security guard, Eddie Garcia. Garcia wouldn't show her the video, but he admitted off the record, quote, it's bad. So KK had Combs call Eddie, and Eddie said, fine, my boss will destroy the evidence for $50,000. This is when Mr. Combs saved Eddie as Eddie, my angel, in his phone. Eddie brought Combs the USB. D-Rock was there. KK was there. Eddie counted the money. Eddie even asked Combs, what's going to happen if Cassie calls the police? How will I explain that this video doesn't exist? Combs ensured that the NDA meant Cassie would be silent. This was influencing testimony, not just avoiding publicity. Sex trafficking. Sex trafficking involves force, fraud, and coercion against Cassie and Jane. The defendant used threats, drugs, lies, violence to force sex with escorts. This isn't about criminalizing personal relationships. These victims didn't want to engage in these acts, covered in oil and sore, being made to do it repeatedly. Only one instance is needed, but this happened far more. Jane's case began with love bombing. She was smitten. There were trips to the Caribbean. Dr. Hughes calls this love bombing stage a grooming tactic. Combs gave Jane ecstasy. It caused her convulsions. He made her put baby oil all over herself. He made her wear lingerie.
Guys, I want to show you like what love bombing is because like that's important. Let me share the screen. Sorry guys, I had technical difficulties.
Subtle examples of love bombing in relationships. 1. Overwhelming compliments. Lavishing you with praise like, you're the most amazing person I've ever met. Or, no one has ever made me feel this way before. Very early in the relationship, creating an artificial sense of closeness. 2. Isolating you subtly. Encouraging you to spend more time with them and less with friends or family, under the guise of wanting to spend every moment together. 3. Making promises too soon. Talking about a future together right away, like planning vacations, discussing baby names, or imagining life as a couple. Creating a sense of obligation to reciprocate. 4. Expensive or extravagant gifts. Giving overly expensive or lavish gifts early on, even if it seems unnecessary or inappropriate for how long you've known each other. 5. Quick declarations of love. Saying I love you or you're my soulmate within days or weeks of meeting, pushing for an emotional connection before you've had time to establish trust. Subtle examples of love bombing in relationships. 1. Overwhelming.
So yeah, guys, that's love bombing, and that's what the person who the sorry, guys can't even hear me. That's what love bombing is, and that's what the psychologist that took the stand, she talked about like love bombing, that he loved bombed her. So like that was pretty much what they alleged that he did. So I just wanted to give you guys context of what love bombing was because that came up a lot. So I just wanted to show you. So guys, if you have someone saying that, be careful. That's what love bombing is. So be on be on the lookout, I guess. All right, let me play the rest.
He loved red lights. In May of 2021, high and eager to please, Jane joined a freak off with an escort. Initially, she was excited, but she didn't see it dominating her life and the relationship. She texted Sean her desire to stop, wanting non-activity hotels, but Combs ignored her. He was serving his desires. He would dictate how long they would last. He would make her request nude photos from male escorts for his benefit. When she would ask to use a condom, he would be condescending. When she would try to speed up, he would make her slow down. He dangled gifts and money and unfulfilled promises in front of her. You saw texts where Jane wrote, I don't want you to use me to fulfill your freaky, wild desires in hotel rooms. He'd write back saying, look at the roof over your head and your pretty mouth and teeth, leveraging the rent that he had paid and the veneers that he had paid for. For an all-star party, he demanded she had sex with 3 men. She sent pictures of period blood to resist. In a voice note, you heard him say, I'm about to really disappear on you. I don't have time for this. You got me on my job, now you get on your job. Refusing no as an answer. After Cassie's lawsuit, Jane wrote, I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma. On 2 of my birthdays, you forced me to have sex with other people, accusing him of gaslighting and framing exploitation as love. He tried to trick her into claiming consent, pushing a false narrative. Now, why did this last so long? Well, Dr. Hughes explained trauma bonding. And when James spoke up, Combs dismissed her truth, urging her to move on and threatening legal action against her. Jane did want to move on, so she required $100,000 a year, which was significantly less than Cassie's settlement, But when he heard this, he raged. He threatened to send sex tapes to her child's father. In a desperate act of manipulation, he love bombed her again. He invited her to Miami, promising her gifts and promising her no freak-offs. But while she was on the plane, he called an escort. In 2024, Jane wrote, "I hate worrying about the rent." In 2024, he assaulted her and forced her to have sex with an escort. Again, sex trafficking. In 2023, Combs promised Jane a proper New York City weekend. But when she got there, he had invited escorts. She messaged, "It's dark and sleazy. I'm in fear of losing my home." He replied, "Girl, stop," and FaceTimed her, promising her dinner and no freak-offs. But he had lied again. He texted Paul Arthur to arrange a freak-off. It was a surprise, even for Jane, a surprise she didn't want. This deception, before her plane even landed, was sex trafficking. At the sobriety party, she didn't use any drugs. The sex left her vomiting. She wrote, "I'm not a porn star. I'm not an animal. I need a break." Combs wrote back, "Let's spend the day together. No strangers." Jane replied, "You'll love bomb me." Then he shifted to financial coercion, texting her 8 times, "Are you going to let me into our house?" He claimed he was sick and he needed her, so she went to see him. But when she did, he forced her to have sex with 3 men without drugs. When she vomited, he said, "Get back out there." In 2024, at Jane's house, this is post-Homeland Security searches, a planned fun date turned violent. They argued. Jane
Hold on, guys. Sorry. I want to play a clip. I'm going to play a clip of a reenacted version of Jane's testimony, so you guys can see it live in the flesh. I really like Law and Order. Shout out to them, their testimony. So let me play this. Okay. Guys, if you're liking what you're seeing, please hit the like button. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks.
And when you say a little bit of flirting, between who?
Between Sean and I.
And you said partying. Were you using drugs that night?
No.
What, if any, private conversations did you have with Sean on that yacht?
At one point, I had to use the restroom and he happened to be there as well. And that's when we bumped into each other and he was like, "Take down my number. Let me get your number." And we exchanged numbers then. And that's when we decided we should have a nickname. And he said Bert and I said Ernie. And then, yeah.
And so did you exchange phone numbers?
Yes.
And after that, were you in contact over the phone?
He would text message. Yes, we would. We would text message. Yes.
During that same trip to Miami, what, if any, drugs do you remember seeing?
I remember seeing a pink powder substance.
And on which day, if you can remember, do you remember seeing those drugs?
That first night.
What do you remember about that?
I remember after the yacht, we all went to the pool and one of the girls had requested that she wanted some drugs. And I guess while we were in the pool.
I don't want you to guess. So one of your girlfriends requested drugs. And how did Sean respond?
He said, okay.
And then what did you see happen a little while later?
That somebody came to bring the drugs.
Where did you go with Sean at that point?
At the studio and inside the property at 2-Star.
Did you and Sean go alone to the studio?
Yes.
What did you see happen in the studio?
I saw this man pull out this pink powder.
And what, if anything, did that man say?
Well, I remember I was like, "Is this safe?" And I remember both of them looking at me, like, kind of just gave me just like a look. Yeah, it's the best.
Who did you see that man give the pink powder to?
Sean.
And what did you see Sean do with it?
Just take it to the girl. And I believe he used it as well.
And he took it back to the pool?
Around us, yes.
And gave it to one of your girlfriends?
Yes.
And what do you remember happening after that?
I remember my girlfriend was pretty upset. I think she assumed that there was something going on with Sean and I at that moment. And we then left the party pretty abruptly.
You said your girlfriend was upset. Is that the girlfriend who was in the relationship with Sean?
Yes.
What other activities do you remember doing with your girlfriends and Sean on that first trip?
I remember the next day we just had a pool party and just hosted a pool party just for us. And we were just having drinks and having lunch by the pool. It was a nice day.
And then what do you remember from your last stay in Miami?
I remember he invited us all over for a movie night, and we went in the theater and all watching a movie.
Where was the theater?
Inside of his residence.
What do you remember happening while you were watching the movie with Sean and your girlfriends?
I remember he texted me and he was like, "Are you okay? I'd like to take you out." And I was just saying to him that it just felt a little complicated in the moment, but like, yeah, we'll be in touch.
So you were texting during the movie?
Yes.
And was the girlfriend of yours who was seeing Sean in a relationship with him there as well?
Yes.
After that movie night, where did you go?
I went back home.
And at the time, where were you living generally?
On the East Coast.
And after that trip, how, if at all, did you remain in contact with Sean?
Just through text messages, phone calls.
And what do you remember about those communications in the weeks after that first Miami trip in 2020?
I remember he was flirtatious. He was inviting me to Miami, like that generally.
Ms. Becker, could we please pull up what is in evidence as Government Exhibit A906? And could you please pull up pages 1 and 2 side by side? Jane, do you recognize this?
Yes. Yes.
And what is this?
It's a text message between myself and Sean.
Could you please tell us the very first text that you sent to Sean?
Bert.
And how did he respond?
Ernie.
And then can we go to the next page and look at what Sean sent you after that? What did he send you after that?
He says, "Call me Ernie. How are you?"
What are the dates of these messages?
November 30th, 2020.
And were the first two November 29th, 2020?
Yes.
Over the course of your texting relationship and communications after that Miami trip, who pursued whom?
Sean.
Sean pursued who?
Me.
And what was Sean asking you to do over those messages and phone calls?
He was just asking me if he could see me, if I would be interested to come to Miami.
And at first, how did you respond?
At first, I was a little hesitant.
Why were you hesitant at first?
Because I was still being considerate of my girlfriend who still had feelings for him. And yeah.
What, if anything, changed? And when you say a little bit of flirting, between who?
Between Sean and I.
And you said partying. Were you using drugs that night?
No.
What, if any, private conversations did you have with Sean on that yacht?
At one point, I had to use the restroom and he happened to be there as well. And that's when we bumped into each other and he was like, "Take down my number. Let me get your number." And we exchanged numbers then. And that's when we decided we should have a nickname. And he said Bert and I said Ernie. And then, yeah.
And so did you exchange phone numbers?
Yes.
And after that, were you in contact over the phone?
He would text message. Yes, we would. We would text message. Yes.
This girl is cold-blooded, y'all. She had no shame. So this is Jane. And just to remind y'all, Jane was friends with his girlfriend or side piece, whatever she was at the time. That's how she met him. And when she met him, she was like, "Hey, look, you and my baby daddy don't get along." And that didn't even matter to her. So again, I have zero sympathy for Jane. I'm gonna be honest with you. And to this day, he's still paying her rent. Let me continue playing the prosecutor's tape. We're almost to the end, guys. Give me a like, give me a follow. Please go to Nora Christine Live if you're watching on X and support your girl. Let me play
Was just
this.
heading to the counter and shouted. She told him to leave. She ran. She closed 3 doors. He kicked down all 3. She ran out of the house without shoes and hid, but he waited. When he found her, he punched her in the face, dragged her back in by the hair. She went to the shower. He followed her into the shower, hit her, and knocked her down. He went into the bedroom and called an escort. He then ordered her to have sex with that escort. He then made her put makeup on and hide the injuries on her face. He told her, take this fucking pill. Jane refused, but then she was made to have oral sex with Anton. That's coercion. These 3 nights progressed from fraud to coercion to force. Combs used financial control, like Jane's house, gave her drugs, which is essential to coerced sex. In Miami in 2024, he gave her liquid Molly. The defense may claim she was enthusiastic, but she was heavily intoxicated. He threatened to send sex tapes to her child's father. The defense's claims of consent are ludicrous. Cassie's abuse spanned a decade. At 19, with Combs in his late 30s, he signed her to a 10-record deal, gave her ecstasy on a yacht, and then they had sex. At 21, he, her boss, demanded compliance. He was abusive physically, emotionally, psychologically, sexually. The defense may call it domestic violence, but this was force. He forced freak-offs. He even controlled her appearance.
Okay, y'all. So I got another clip I want to play. I found a clip, guys, where pretty much exclusive clip, Diddy's voice is talking about scheduling the freak offs or the hotel nights, because he called it freak offs with Cassie, and he called them hotel nights and sometimes movie nights with Jane. Let me tell you, Diddy had some creative ways of saying things, guys. Let me play this.
Coming in for 24 hours. Yeah, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity. So set some up for tomorrow night. That last vision we had was Dawn and ATL. See you put it together, baby.
All right. What you think, Bernardo?
Problem for the prosecution, for the defense, and why I say that. Transportation to engage in prostitution. Dawn is from Atlanta. Set that up. So you're having him fly from Atlanta to whether it's Miami or Los Angeles. Here you have the transportation to engage in prostitution coming out of the mouth of Sean Combs. This is an easy charge for the prosecution to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. The sex trafficking is a bit iffy when you're dealing with Jane, because you have that issue of whether there was really coercion. But in terms of transportation to engage in prostitution, you have that they're entertainers, that they're getting paid. You're flying them out from their locations, from Atlanta, from Los Angeles, to go to Miami or to go to Los Angeles.
You coming in for 24 hours. Yeah, you always wanted to set some up. So now you got the opportunity.
So yeah, they're saying that that's a win for them. Let me play the rest. Hold on, guys, 1 second.
Like her hair at the 2014 Vanity Fair party. To ensure her dependency on him, he paid for her car, clothes, phones, vacations. When he found out about Kid Cudi, he demanded $20,000 from her parents. He threatened to leak her sex tapes to her parents. Control was the goal, not money. Dr. Hughes noted abusers exploit their victims' instability. He punched her, kicked her. He dragged her. He hid her in a hotel to heal. D-Rock, Rube, and Paulie all knew. He attacked her at a Prince party until security had to intervene. Mia, Myra Morales, and Cassie described assaults in Jamaica and Las Vegas, where she was curled up under a toilet. D-Rock even cried after seeing it. The intercontinental assault was taped. It was a shock to us, but it was normalized for Cassie. She saw attacks on Mia, Devontae Nash, and Banna. Combs once had her hold guns. During the Suge Knight diner incident, she was there. Fear, per Dr. Hughes, trapped her in. In South Africa, KK called and D-Rock reported to Combs, "She's about to ice up. I told her to chill." In Malibu, he raped her on the living room floor despite her refusal and tears. The next day he wrote, "I could tell I didn't turn you on yesterday." His strange way of admitting rape. Trauma bonding led to later consensual sex. His MO involved hours-long performances, masturbating, sometimes filming, as with Jane. He ordered escorts to urinate on Cassie or did so himself for his arousal. She became drug addicted, writing, "I love our freak-offs when we both want it." But he knew when she didn't want it, like when an escort was urinating in her mouth. That's sex trafficking. Video shows him focusing on the escorts for his.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna pause right here because I want to play like these freaking male whores. They can't keep their mouths shut, okay? They've been speaking out, and I got, shout out to Gray Mars. We've been live streaming this on the new party, and they've been like saying some really funny stuff. Um, and I found some really funny ones on Tasha K's show. I gotta play this. This is just hilarious. I like almost fell out the chair. I mean, I've been having some, the world's been crazy lately, but this whole Diddy thing has been a nice distraction and a nice daily laugh for me. So let me play this clip. This is one of my favorite ones.
Make it make sense. She's lying. She was a part of this.
So what was the hotel video about? Did you know the specifics of that particular freak off and what happened?
I don't, but I have something to say about that. From what I've read about that freak off, they were with another guy, Jules Theodore. If there was a male escort in the room, why didn't that male escort testify to the fact that Cassie was trying to escape? Here's what I believe. I believe that that guy would have testified that the argument was not because Cassie was trying to escape the freak off. It was probably because she was jealous because he was texting other women from his phone. Because I saw her get like that. She would watch to see who he was texting. She was his girlfriend. She gets jealous. He's a billionaire and he's a hoe. She know he got a bunch of girlfriends. She know he don't want her. So of course she's on a stance where she has to make sure that this guy is not cheating on her. She wants to know. So they probably were in the room. She went through his phone. She might have saw something. She thought he was texting a woman. She decided to leave. They got into a fight. He got caught up. Now here's the interesting part. I heard during this trial when I was watching that about 3 weeks after, they had a freak off in Miami with me. These are the texts that I heard. Now, they have this fight. She gets beat up. She has to recover. A couple of weeks later, they decide to have another freak off. She tells him they need to change the energy. They need to change the person. The next thing they do is fly to Miami. They call me. How is this someone who's being sex trafficked? And she clearly tells you we need to change the enemy. Then she calls the same guy, because this was what, 2016, 2015 when he beat her? By then I was sleeping, 6 years, 7 years by then? She deliberately calls me from New York to have sex with her in Miami 3 or 4 weeks after he beats her up in his hotel and is making her have sex. Make it make sense. She's lying. She was a part of this. They were fighting probably because he had a woman. She didn't like that. He beat her up. She got over it because the truth is she wasn't loving.
I'm not a TV bitch. I'm a bitch that's on TV.
Okay, y'all, that was just so much tea. Oh my God, that was just so much tea. I just wanted to give you guys a laugh because that was a good video where he says what he believes the video is about. I want to play the clip of when she said, I'll kill you, so y'all can hear it because I found it now.
Yeah, you don't have to see it, but it's my life and I'll kill you. No, I will if you don't show me right now. I will you and I will hide you and I will cut you up and put you in the dirt right now. Pull it up. If you have it, pull that up. Because if not, I'm going to you and then he's going to you again. So just do it. Pull that up right now. You got that? Pull that up. I'm going to you. You don't understand. I don't give a I've never anybody in my life, but I will you because you're with me. You're with me in my life right now. If I saw a video of you doing anything that you didn't want people to see, I would show you the video so you could tell me what the happened. You're playing games with me, telling me you saw some. Now you're saying you didn't see some. You're with me. I'm going to you up. I don't think you understand. And it's not going to be my hands, and it's not going to be blood on my hands. Someone else is going to do it. So you have to tell me right now, and I'm recording this whole shit. FYI, tell me what the you're talking about. Because this is not cool. We're not playing. I'm not playing with you, Sujit. Like, you saw some yes, you're my brother. Be my brother and tell me what you saw.
My bad, y'all. Y'all couldn't hear me. Clearly, she was embarrassed. If y'all are watching right now, please give me a like. Go to YouTube and follow me on Nora Christine Live. Let me get back to playing the rest. I just wanted to play that little backstory because we gotta catch you up to speed, y'all. If y'all have not been following, I'm getting you up to speed in one night. Let me play the rest. Here we go.
Fantasies. The Intercontinental incident. She didn't want to engage in a freak off, so he hit her. She fled into the hallway without shoes, but he threw her down, kicked her, dragged her back into the room to the escort. He then went back out, got her bags, brought them back to the room, grabbed her phone despite just being in a towel. When security arrived, he stalled because Jules was still inside. Cassie wanted to leave. What did Combs do? He offered Flores money. You all saw the photo of Jane with a black eye. The violence forced Cassie to continue. She wrote, "I'm not a rag doll, I'm someone's child." In New York, with escort Daniel Phillip, Combs ordered Cassie to the bathroom. She refused, so he threw a bottle at her, dragged her, slapped her, and yelled, "Bitch, when I tell you to come here, you come here." At this point, Phillip couldn't even get himself to perform. In Cannes, Combs threw Cassie off a boat without her passport for alleged drug theft. And on the flight back to New York, he showed her freak-offs of herself and threatened to release them. That's coercion. You remember Cassie said, "I didn't know what no would mean." Drugs might have numbed her, but explicit messages don't equal consent. In 2009, he wrote, "You're supposed to be seducing me all day." At her birthday, he demanded a freak-off and didn't leave her any choice. Now for the counts. For count 1, Combs had help from KK, D-Rock, and Fahim, who knew it was wrong. KK arranged room access for escorts like Clayton Howard, Dave. Jonathan Perez showed KK a video of Cassie with an escort. Fahim saw it. Fahim supplied drugs during freak-offs. On February 18th, 2024, after Jane's complaint, KK sent items for Wild King nights. D-Rock iced Cassie's black eye, fully aware. David James and Deontay Nash saw strangers. Jonathan saw Jane's video. For count 3, transportation.
Okay, guys, I want to play this clip of happier times of them in 2017. And mind you, this was 10 plus years into the relationship with him and Cassie. If, again, do I deny that he was rough with her and abusive? No. But, I mean, I just want to play it. I'm going to show you.
That wasn't good. I want you to sing at the top of your lungs. Oh, no, that was the top of my lungs, though. If you don't feel it, let's not do it. That was the top of mine. Feel it. Very top of mine. Very top. Very, very top. Happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday to you. Hey, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
I guess it's just different times. Like, I don't like they had a very strange relationship, guys. I'm not gonna hold you. It was very weird. This was them, a leaked video at his 48th birthday party. This is them in Cancun. Here she is walking in with him. They look very happy. They look very much in love. She always looks happy with him. I mean, was she happy? Was it fake smiling? Was it real? I mean, financially, he gave her a good life. They look very happy here. He's loving on her. He's hugging on her. I mean, publicly, it seems very happy. But was it a facade? I don't know, guys. I mean, countless stories. There's a video where one of her friends I saw before this case saying that she was forced to leave her birthday party and he got rough with her. This is his ex-bodyguard speaking on it. Let me play this.
She
This is
said in the
Roger
car leaving the
Bonds.
club, Diddy beat her, pushed her into a corner of the vehicle, and stomped on her face. Diddy's security, Roger Bonds, you're actually named in the lawsuit, tried to stop the beating but was unable to de-escalate the situation. When the car arrived to Diddy's house, Cassie tried to run away, but Diddy followed her, proceeded to kick her again in the face.
Right.
Cassie was bleeding profusely and was ushered into his house, where she began to throw up from the violent attack. Upon recognizing the damage he had done and the evidence of the abuse, he panicked and he forced his staff to bring her to a hotel suite at the London Hotel, she just said,
Right.
where she was required to stay for a week. While in the hotel, she has to go home to her parents, but Diddy wouldn't let her leave. She lied to her mother when the story was kind of started to circulate, and he basically told one of his assistants to buy her a whole bunch of gifts, and they were delivered to the hotel room to try to pacify her.
Right.
Stories pretty much match up.
Exactly.
So everything I just described
is what I'm saying.
Is what you're saying.
Because it's true.
Okay. Did you actually see her at the London Hotel?
Yes.
And
I would go and check on her.
You would go and check on her.
I would go and.
She said in the car leaving the club, Diddy beat her, pushed her into a corner of the vehicle, and stomped on her face.
This is all
Diddy's,
really
security,
hard
Roger
to hear,
Bonds,
you
who actually
guys.
named
This
in the
is
lawsuit.
him. He's giving his testimony, but it's like, maybe the racketeering is true. I mean, why didn't anyone help her? But maybe they didn't want to overstep. I mean, this is why I would struggle with these people being named co-defendants. This is her friend. I want to play this clip. I finally found it, saying how
I don't
he
think
would
people
make her leave.
understand what it's like to be traumatized by somebody famous and rich, because you can't get away from them.
Tiffany Red has written for the likes of Zendaya, Jason Derulo, and Jennifer Hudson. In 2015, she became friends with Cassie while writing songs for her album. At that point, Cassie and Diddy had been together for nearly 8 years. In a lawsuit Cassie filed last month, she detailed the abuse she says Diddy committed, including physical assault. Red says although she did not know about the alleged physical assault while working with Cassie, she did witness verbal abuse on more than one occasion, one of which took place during Cassie's 29th birthday in 2015. Red says Diddy showed up at karaoke where Cassie and a group of friends were celebrating.
So he had her back into the corner and he was like cussing her out with his hand in her face.
Later that night, Red, who was staying at Cassie's home, says she awoke to screaming.
He's standing in the living room area and she's there, and he was like emotional singing. There you are. And I just was like, oh, he's talking to me. And I remember, I don't know if you know what his voice sounds like, but I felt like I was in the presence of his monster inside. And I remember looking in his eyes, and I said to him, what did y'all do? Because I could see that she was really sedated. That was the first time I ever seen her high before. And then he says, tell your girl she wants some birthday. And we were like, well, I mean, he's saying this to me, and I'm like, well, she doesn't have to have sex with you if she doesn't want to. He was upset, I guess that she didn't want to do with him whatever he wanted. I don't know. I don't feel like I could advocate for myself in that moment. I realized oh, this guy is dangerous.
Red says it was only a few months ago that Cassie told her what was really going on that night in 2015, that it all stemmed from the music executive wanting her to take part in what he called a freak-off against her will.
What did Cassie tell you about these freak-offs? That he would hire these sex workers, and they would have, sex with her or whatever, and he would watch and tell them what to do.
In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges she was forced to participate in freak-offs throughout her relationship with Diddy. Red learning recently one horrific detail from Cassie.
She told me the only time he was willing to do anything or work on her music, go through any plans, any of that, was when she had a freak off. So all of our music, all my work, to find out that I spent all these years writing these songs for him to rape my friend to, is just disgusting.
In the lawsuit, Cassie detailed the physical abuse she says Diddy committed, including an instance where she was put in a hotel room for days to heal. Red says Cassie recently told her about Diddy giving her a black eye before the premiere of her 2016 film, The Perfect Match.
I remember one time her telling me that, I think it might have been The Perfect Match, that movie that she was in, And she told me that she had a black eye under her makeup.
Do you believe Diddy is a dangerous person?
Yes, I do.
Why?
I mean, look at his rap sheet. I don't think people understand what it's like to be traumatized.
They giving all the tea. Well, we almost done, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was fun. We had a nice little breakdown so you guys can catch up because I know busy times. Anybody got time to be keeping up with this? That's why I've been keeping up with this. Let me play this clip. We're almost done. We're almost to the finish line here. Here we go.
Force isn't required, just intent for prostitution. Combs paid and booked escorts travel, like Jules to London, and the Amex charges for the $2,000 bill. He texted, "I will tip you. This means for sex." Paul traveled to Turks. Reggie traveled from Vegas to Los Angeles. Jane sent him $1,100 via Cash App. A hotel folio showed $4,000 in damages for bodily fluid. KK arranged Vegas travel for Wild King nights, facilitating more crimes. Forced labor count involved Cassie, Jane, Mia, and Capricorn. Cassie and Jane endured grueling sex services, sometimes lasting days, with Combs earning, "Let's finish this on a high note. You're not tired." Recovery took weeks. KK set up rooms and flights. Mia at Revolt went 5 days without sleep. Combs assault her, penetrating her, forcing oral sex, and attacking her on a jet. Again, at a wall at a Prince party. In South Africa, KK threatened her job if she didn't call Combs. HR controlled by Combs offered no recourse. Capricorn faced overtime issues and threats in Central Park and lie detector tests. Combs threatened to blacklist her, leveraging her need to provide for her son. Witness tampering count. Following Cassie's lawsuit, Combs called Jane. It was recorded by KK when they feared a criminal probe. He said, "I can't be speaking on this phone." Worried about 3 years of texts, pushing her to say she enjoyed kinky shit. Sharpie sounds on the tape suggested note-taking to manipulate her. D-Rock called Mia 5 times, asking her to lie despite Combs bashing Cassie's head. The intercontinental video, bribery was obstruction. Venue is satisfied in the Southern District of New York, Manhattan, and Bronx. Counts 2 and 3 involve Manhattan freak-offs, including Jules at the London Hotel. Count 4 involves Jane in Manhattan. The evidence, videos, texts, testimony from Kid Cudi, Regina Ventura, Deontay Nash show Combs ran the enterprise with total control. It's time to hold him accountable and find him guilty.
Damn, drops mic. So there you guys have it. I started with the defense's breakdown. I played the prosecutions. Is he guilty? Did he do it? Let me tell you my predictions, guys. My prediction is I don't think it's going to be a hung jury. I predict he's going to be found guilty on the prostitution charge, maybe on the sex trafficking, but I don't see the RICO. I don't believe the RICO was proven. There were no co-conspirators. I've never seen an enterprise with no one being charged with the person. So I do believe that, yeah, that's my prediction. I don't think it's going to be a hung jury. And I believe that we will know by Tuesday at the latest. I believe that it's been pretty clear. These people are tired. They want to get home. They've been here for 8 weeks already. New Yorkers, they say it faster than a New York minute. These New Yorkers, they are with it. They are not going to be sitting there for days and weeks on end. That's my prediction, and I believe that he's going to be found guilty of some. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Also, guys, thank you so much for watching me. If you like my content, you like my style, you like your girl Nora Christine, come back tomorrow at 8 p.m. I am going to be talking about A little reality TV. The Miami Housewives. What are you missing out? If you have not been keeping up with Miami, you are missing out on some great tea. I'm going to tell you all about it. I'm about to binge watch it, and I'm going to give you the tea and the breakdown. Also, I am on The New Party. I am the host and executive producer of The New Party. So please go on over to at The New Party. If you like what you're seeing, if you're watching at X, we'll be back here Monday through Thursday. Monday and Wednesday is the Man Cave Show. Tuesday and Thursday is The New Party. I don't know what I'm going to talk about yet, y'all. I think I might talk about the New York City mayoral candidate. I don't know yet. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that. It's a lot of stuff going on. The news is constantly changing. So yeah, if you're not following me on YouTube, please go to Nora Christine Live. If you're not following me on TikTok, go to Nora Christine 26. And if you're not following me on X, go to New Party 2025. So yeah, guys, God bless. Have a nice evening. I'll see you tomorrow and have a good night.